We thought we should do this fun one, a week in the life of an economist, specifically the travel edition. That's because we recently traveled and you traveled for a few days in Botswana.
Yes.
What happened there? Please tell us. So, as an economist, you get to travel for sometimes.
Yes.
Please tell us about your recent trip.
Sure. So I recently traveled to Botswana for a few days. And basically it was just support, right? They recently had their budget that has been tabled. As we know, Botswana is experiencing a few challenges with regards to, the economy being so concentrated in the diamond mining industry. With diamond prices now, unusually and probably structurally low. There's something that is weighing obviously on the fiscal dynamics. Liquidity issues are starting to rise up. There might be socioeconomic issues over time as well, that can be expected. So we're just giving them the view from SA, given that we've also come out of our own drama and trying to really
Are we really out?
well, they say we are turning the corner, right? We're turning the corner. So
Yeah.
so I think structural reforms are an African theme, really.
Structural reform. So, do you have hope? Sorry for such an unfair question.
I do have hope. Given what they were saying, I think they're taking this seriously. They are already talking about how, or what I like about their approach. It's like Operation Vulindlela, like unwinding the impediments to investments or investment growth, right?
Yeah.
So how do you make projects practical, fundable? Something that an investor can look at and say, okay, well, I like what they're saying here. Let me invest. And so they've went about it in a very public process. Public participation type of way, where people were able to submit projects and they say, okay, well, this is what I think can happen in, for example, tourism. And then they workshopped it, refined the project, make it more practical, and then they're going to maybe have a dashboard of some sort where investors can, engage with these projects, and then you're funding something specific. And I think I think that's a nice way.
More attractive for investment. At least you've calculated the specific risk, not just throwing money into a pool that you don't know where it's going. So what you're saying is that there is a successful Botswana without diamonds. It's possible.
I think it is possible. What I think is also has to be mentioned, given the South African experience, right? These things take time. And I think, and what I worry about is that a lot of us just want change now, and not only change, but also the results to come in now. And I think we've learned better. I mean, even us as economists, we had those funny growth forecasts because of the structural reform agenda. Now we're just humbled and come down, all type of things.
It takes time. But as long as we're moving in the right direction, that's what matters. Yeah. So that is encouraging.
You also recently did a trip though.
Oh yes.
Yes. To Cape Town.
It's good to be back in land.
It's good, is it? You went to the good Cape Town, and how was that?
I went to the mother city.
The mother city.
The mining in Daba was happening there, so I got a chance to attend. One of the sectors that I have to look at work, so that I advise in terms of policy development, as they develop policy so that they would know what's happening in the sectors. One of the sectors is mining. So because there was a mining in Daba and I could get more information from there, I was asked to go there and follow the developments so that we are better positioned when we make our policy decision to see how it affects the industry and how the industry affects the broader economy. So this year, the mining in Daba was interesting. So the last time I think I went there, there was a whole talk about ESG. There was ESG this, climate change that, a bit of renewable energy talk, a bit of critical minerals talk. But this time, I don't know if everyone had the same script, but there was so much emphasis on local beneficiation. There was so much emphasis on saying that in the past, and since time in memory, if that's the proper English, I don't know, but since forever, you've had the African continent only participating as an extractive area where a lot of value add was outside the continent. And it was quite painful because a lot of speakers actually reiterated that we cannot be a continent as Africa that has most of the known deposits, but yet we are labeled as the poorest as an African. So almost everyone who was speaking was talking about beneficiation and was saying that we should develop our manufacturing sector so that the produce that comes from our land can actually be processed here, the majority of it, and then it can benefit the African people. That was, I think, what stood out for me. It started with the minister's opening address, and in all the other sessions that I went to, this theme kept going. But there was a question that said, we know all of this, we've discussed it, we've diagnosed it, but what is the problem? And the key answer to all of that was political will. That was the answer. And I mean, I think political will is gradually getting there. The talks are there, but the actions have been a bit slow. But what the minister did this time around was to give an actual account of all the developments that happened since the previous mining dava, to show how many new licenses, exploration licenses were issued. All that progress, it was quite encouraging. And Eskom is already discussing the issue of having a separate pricing mechanism for the mining sector or those who are processing minerals, because the electricity cost is quite heavy, and it yeah, I mean, if the normal household is complaining about it, imagine what a smelter has to do. There is a lot of smelting capacity like chrome that has been lost domestically, not because there's no infrastructure or the skill, but because the cost of operating that is so high. So yeah, so Eskom is coming to the party, and everybody seems to be talking about that local beneficiation, but also saying that Africa must unite in terms of making mining deals. There was a call, and actually a specific example. One of the key speakers said there that if South Africa were to discover, what was that mineral? Let's just say new deposits of copper, for example, it will be irresponsible for South Africa to just start mining and flooding the market. And they even called it a race to the bottom, because now you're flooding the market, you are taking down the price of the specific minerals. It will be wise if you go throughout the African continent and find other people who are producing it and saying that, how do we now pace our production so that we don't engage in this race to the bottom? Because major economies around the world are doing that, whether it's with minerals or even with oil. In many different ways, there seem to be a lot of cooperation among continents and economic groupings. So there was an encouragement this year at the mining dava that that should be the African approach, and that is how we're going to ensure that beneficiation takes place. That is how we're going to ensure that the minerals actually benefit the people of the continent.
I will hope for the best, because because I think that's one thing personally, as a young African, I would like to see.
Yes.
You know, definitely Africans working together, Africans sticking together. I think that's something that I personally hope for in my time, hopefully.
And yeah, you're the answer to that. Yeah, no, it's an encouragement. Let's keep working together. So it was just a snippet from us to say that yes, as economists, we do get to travel here and there. It's not a lot. Well, it depends on the kind of work that you do, because I assume that everyone who watches this channel knows by now that economics is quite broad. So February we get to travel, and I guess it was an amazing experience. Koketso went to Botswana, I went to Cape Town, and those were our experiences.